The hills drew nearer. They made an undulating ridge, often rising almost to 1,000 feet, and here and there falling again to low clefts or passes. The nearer foothills were brown and somber. In The Lord of the Rings Online, I was struck by how well the game maintains the landscape that's so intricately described in Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring. Our best moments of intimacy in the novel's scene occur in descriptions of landscape where we are momentarily unaware that we are not a character. The third-person point of view limits us to a narrator, and only through him are we allowed to witness the fellowship. Except for moments like these, when the reader is able to stop and take in the setting. Before we could even start the Retake Weathertop instance in the game, a good portion of our group activity was spent seeking each other out through the wildlands. The game enabled us to experience the exact same confusion that Strider and the team faced in heading to Weathertop. Unlike the blatant third-person view of the novel, the Weathertop journey of the movie is told through Strider's point of view, through close-ups, reverse shots, and voiceovers as the camera views the hobbits. This places dramatic irony on Frodo's fate. Since Strider is in a position of knowing, we as spectators take on the semi-omniscient third-person perspective towards the main character. However, while in both the movie and novel I get a clear sense of what and who the Fellowship is, I don't know what it means to be in a fellowship until I play the game. The game simultaneously follows both a first and third-person point of view. It convinces you that you alone see what your avatar sees. Games have the unique technical ability to regenerate the same setting to each player's individual point of view no matter who stands where, through use of linear perspective. But the methodology of fostering identities in massively multiplayer online games goes further. From the moment we decide on our class and race, we begin to create our own identity. Differentiation reinforces individuality by things as little as the damage we can deal or take, the moves we can perform, and the leadership roles we take. These small details add up when compared to reading and watching static events. For instance, our healer became a stock character as we played, and not just because he provided the soundtrack. His character grounded the Fellowship because we always either depended on him or protected him, holding us accountable as a team in order to function. Tolkien's work follows the romance system of stock characters such as Merry and Pippin, the comic relief, Frodo, the destined hero, and Sam, the loyal sidekick. And we created our own roles according to our needs as well. That clunky user interface simulated the communication of the actual Fellowship, where Frodo can scream in the movie, or we can just read that he's in trouble in the book. We checked on each other's well-being by analyzing images in the game, where in real life you'd look at one's face and see distress. The MMO world conditions us to respond to health bars as a sign of distress. Unfortunately, the game doesn't share the novel and the movie's luxury of simulating real time. Through these mediums, you can see the individual's actions directly affecting the outcome, but the video game outcomes are generally fixed and become repetitive, even tactless. Despite the advantage, a movie will always be a spectator sport. In the words of Evan Manny, a filmmaker turned game designer, the movie industry is done growing. The movie has less of an ability to engage point of view well in such a personal and still communal way because you are removed, watching from places alienating an actual participant. While Strider's absence at the onset of the attack in the novel and the movie may have been a convenient plot ploy, any absence of members during the game was a huge inconvenience. We got to know what he must have felt as we ran up the quiet slopes hearing the screams of battle in the distance, or in our case, next to you in class. As a spectator, investment is minimal and you can remove yourself from such anxieties. But once you step into first person, the emotions heighten to the point where you forget it's just a game. 3 well-developed mediums, all treating what was once just a literary device. The game world has the potential to expand and intensify point of view. What makes the game most powerful in cultivating point of view is the ability to move outside the narrative to make it truly your own, what Jesper Jules calls emergent narrative. The novel somewhat mimics the idea of emergent narrative with its occasional poetry breaks. But somehow, impromptu dance parties seem much more productive.